Hello, I'm Matt Guf from thehouse.com. I'm here with Chris Banks from Liquid Force. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good.
All right. Thanks for inviting us out.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, he's been walking us through the entire 2018 Liquid Force line, and Chris has a really good system and formula for how to buy a wakeboard. One common question and one video that actually gets a lot of views on our YouTube channel is how to buy a wakeboard part 1. And we have a pretty extended long version, but Chris has a very condensed formula that works really well. Chris, how do people buy wakeboards? You're saying there's 4 different things. What are those 4 things, and how can they attribute to someone who's a novice, an intermediate, or an advanced level rider?
Well, that's a great question. So if you look at anything on the house.com website, if you look at all the wakeboards, really they're just various combinations of 4 things. And the first one is going to be the rocker, or the lengthwise curvature of the board.
All right.
It's going to be what is the shape and the width of the tip and the tail.
Got it.
Does it have multiple fins at either end? And what shape are those?
Okay.
So those are all very tangible things you can look at. Just click on site, you'll be able to see the different description. And then the last thing is, how stiff is the board? Is it a soft beginner board, or is it more a stiffer board for more performance oriented tricks?
Got it. So the first attribute you said was the rocker, the profile shape. Now generally there's 2 different shapes. There's continuous and there's 3-stage, and now there's 5-stage. But what does each one of those do for a rider?
So what rocker does is a lengthwise curvature of the board, right? So rocker gives you the ability to drive the board around to initiate a turn and help that board release from the top of the wake. So 2 different types. You have continuous rocker on the trip board that you have, means that curvature is the same degree all the way through the board. So usually on more beginner intermediate boards, very easy to drive around the lake, and also provides a very stable feel for that rider.
Got it. So when you put the board on a flat ground, it kind of teeter-totter like a rocking chair.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Exactly right. The second style is what you're seeing here, which is a 3-stage rocker, which I say is more shaped like a skateboard.
Okay.
Flat in the middle and then kicked up in the tip and the tail.
Sure.
The flat area in the middle, so say between this point and this point, actually acts as a gas pedal, because then you have a flat surface board on a flat surface water. It's very efficient. It's very fast. So I call the flat surface on a 3-stage rocker, this is your gas pedal.
Got it. So if it's flat, it's going to be a lot faster than continuous.
Exactly. The flip side to that is flat also can be a little bit more slippery.
Okay.
So that's the trade-off. So speed, a little bit more slippery. Continuous rocker, a little slower but very stable.
Got it. So continuous rockers, most likely for novice to intermediate, and then 3-stage intermediate to advanced, most likely.
Correct. Yes.
Perfect. And then the second big attribute you said was the nose and the tail style shapes, right?
Yes, so all the boards are going to be symmetrical end to end, so it doesn't matter whether you're right foot forward or left foot forward, you're getting the same shape either way, coming or going.
Yep.
Then you have 2 different shapes that are going to determine how the board feels as it comes off the lip of the wake.
Okay.
Your board, the Trip, has more of a rounded off tip and tail.
Sure.
So the idea there is that board actually releases more smoothly from the lip of the wake. It kind of places you into the air.
Got it.
Whereas the classic board that I have is more of a 90-degree blunted wide tip and tail. The wider and more blunted that tip and tail is, the more explosive, a stronger pop feel is going to happen as a rider reaches the hip of the wake.
Got it. I suppose so. This is more for an advanced rider. This is more for a novice. And if it's kind of a blended, a little bit more blended, that's for that intermediate level rider.
Exactly.
Cool. And then we have the channels, right? Or the fins in the in-motor channels.
Yes, so you have the, so all the boards are going to have some channeling on the bottom. We'll pay attention here is what kind of outside fins, what kind of fin setup does it have on either end. So almost all the boards are going to have multiple fin setups.
Got it.
The multiple fins do one of 2, or they do 2 things. For a beginner intermediate rider, they're going to provide a tracking feature to help that board run more true down the lake.
Okay.
For an advanced rider, it's going to help that board when it's put up on edge. It's going to help keep that board edge set down in the water, so you're getting more power out of it.
And heading right to the wake.
Correct.
Okay. And then and some boards have removable fins. Why would someone want to remove their fins?
All in feel. So beginner intermediate rider like the Trip is going to have a shorter deeper outside fins, more for tracking, and then a large center fin. So this rider, once they get comfortable, might want to try something that feels a little bit more loose, or if you're going to try to do some of those surface 180 tricks, removing the center fin will loosen the board up a little bit.
Okay.
For an advanced rider, they're probably going to know, I want a loose feel, I want a tracky feel. You can ride them with or without the center fin.
Got it. And then lastly is the flex. Soft, medium flex, and then super stiff.
Exactly.
How does each one benefit a riding ability?
So as we've discussed, Guf, all these boards are bending and flexing. They're alive when you're riding them. So a beginner intermediate board are usually made with biaxial fiberglass, which is a little bit softer, which means as you're riding the board, the pressure of the water, the energy, is actually going to kind of bend that board up a little bit. So what that translates into is if you're out on a rough water day, that board's actually going to absorb the waves and kind of, and soften the ride for the rider.
Yep.
That being said, you have on the other end of the spectrum a really stiff board with, say, a triaxial fiberglass or some of these other vector netting, some of these other components.
Yeah.
When you have a stiff board, the board will then resist that pressure of the water and transition that energy into speed. The flip side of that is you wouldn't want to ride it on a rough day because the board becomes less forgiving.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for the average rider out there who just wants a board, or like a family who wants to get a board kind of for everybody, well, what kind of deck should they get with those four main attributes?
So for an everybody, one board in the boat for everybody, probably more of a continuous rocker shape.
Okay.
Maybe something with a rounded tip and tail.
Okay.
Definitely multiple fins, but probably shorter and deeper, more for tracking.
Great.
And then a softer layup so it's more forgiving.
Got it. Now, how about an intermediate level rider who's kind of like getting into jumping a little bit?
Then you'd probably want to go again maybe with a continuous rocker shape, so the board is very easy to ride. Try to look for something with a little bit more blunt tip and tail, so it's going to have, the rocker's going to give you a nice smooth approach, nice stable approach, but then the tip and tail is going to give you that stronger pop feel to it. Maybe something with a little bit longer, shallower fin out here, so you're going to able to hold that edge in a little bit. And you could still either go with a biax or a triax fiberglass, just depending on what you find.
Right. And then lastly, for the expert rider who just wants to send it to the flat, what should they probably already know what they're looking for, but what do you think they should be looking for?
I would definitely say go with something with a 3-stage rocker, so that big accelerator pedal in here, so that's going to give you your speed. A blunt, wide tip and tail, so you're going to get explosive pop off the lip of the wake. Fin definitely on the outside, something to help hold that edge in as you go, and then a very stiff layup of the board, so that board's going to resist the water pressure and translate that into speed.
Man, see, and that's, you say it so simply, and it really is. It's a simple thing to do to buy a wakeboard, but with so many different components, you kind of broke it down for us. So when you guys are out there looking at the web pages, look for those four main attributes, which are the rocker shape, the nose and the tail shape by looking at the pictures, the fin style, and then the overall flex.
Exactly.
Awesome, man. Chris, is there anything else that people need to know?
Get yourself a board and hit the lake.
That's it. Just get out there.
Rip it up.
Thanks for having us, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment or question. If you need help selecting a wakeboard, leave that below. Otherwise, click the link below in the description. Check out some Liquid Force stuff, and subscribe to the channel there. Check out more vids there, and hopefully we'll see you guys on the water. Good luck, and see you around. Peace.